Slovakia Chronicles, a podcast of information, news and much more of our beloved Slovakia. By Andrea Paolo Mazzucchetti. It's me! Let's start! Hello everyone, welcome to 20th episode of the Slovakia Chronicles Podcast. It's still summer, even if this crazy weather is changing every second. Anyhow, definitely it's time for everyone to have a break from the previous critical period and to get ready for the new challenges that we'll need to overcome in the next future. In the next couple of episodes, I would like to talk about two different aspects that are very connected when you're talking about summer and vacation in general. Besides traveling, of course. There are food and funny activities. Let's start with the food, and definitely the main event where you can taste Slovak food, but also from all around the world, are the street food festivals. In these summer days, you can find a lot of them, spread in all Bratislava city, as for example in Namestien Starfenica close to Erovea, Stara Stranica in the city center and in Ružino. Especially during the summer, these events are very recommended if you would like to try something new and mainly to socialize with a lot of people, in a sort of integration point between the Slovak and foreign community, with a friendly and relaxed environment. In fact, the best way to connect with people of different cultures and backgrounds is food, and a perfect example of international street food is the Indian one. The best representative for this cuisine that you can find in this event in Bratislava is definitely MumBhai Express, and its owner, Shrey, is the perfect example of integration between two different worlds, and how being perfectly integrated in the society will lead to a win-win situation for everyone. That's why I've decided to invite him here to have his expert point of view of a foreigner long time stabilized in Bratislava. So take your favorite food, relax and enjoy this juicy conversation. So thank you, Shay, to be here. Thank you very much. And of course I give you space to introduce yourself first, because this usually I'm doing, so give you space for people here.
Okay, I don't know where to start. So I'm Shrey. I come from India. I am in Slovakia for almost 8 years now.
Oh, okay.
I work here. I also do my business here, and so on. And I think I appreciate the kind of work that you do here in Slovakia for foreigners.
Thank you.
So I'm right here to help with whatever I can.
you are doing this, so thank you for this, for your support. I feel it, so thank you very much. And I want to ask about your business, because I'm really interested, because I think it's a good connection between foreign and Slovak, and how this integration is going. So how you create this idea? So how you decide to create this MumBhai Express?
Okay. I don't know, how much time do we have? I can talk about it.
Well, everybody you want.
I can talk about it for hours. Let me see if I can, try to do it in a shorter way. How did the idea come? Well, it was definitely a plan B. I want to get quality Indian food out there with some experience attached to it. I had big trouble finding a place where I could do this. I think I spent quite a few months looking around passively and then also actively to see if I can find a place, where I can do all of this. But I wasn't really getting anywhere. And this one summer, I did a lot of traveling within Slovakia. We went to a lot of festivals with our friends. And everywhere we went, I was like missing the Indian food. I was like, there's there's Mexican food, there's Slovak food, there's Hungarian, quite a few different cuisines around there. I was like, there's no real Indian food. There was a couple of them which was there in the big festivals. I don't want to name them, but it kind of felt like it was fake Indian food. Kind of not. You don't really feel the flavors the way they're supposed to be. You see that the spices have been compromised on, or it's just something that has been made to look like Indian food, for that matter. So I don't know, I was disappointed, and I checked around. I know most of the Indian guys around here. I've been here long, so I checked around with the guys. Why aren't they doing this? Why isn't there Indian food available in these events? So I found out, when I spoke around with all these restaurant owners, they were like, okay, well, there's two big factors. Number one, this is high risk because you're going into an event scenario where you can have weather going really wrong.
Okay.
And once it starts raining or anything that gets cancelled around, you are just stuck there. You're not able to survive doing a business. So that was one of the main things that they saw. And then the other one, which was more of a key for all of them, was it was a lot of hard work. Because going to events, it requires basically you're going in, you are setting up a restaurant in a matter of a couple of days. And then after 2 or 3 days, you are shutting down the restaurant and you go to open it somewhere else. So there's quite a lot of hard work, let's say, involved in there. So these were the two factors that I saw after speaking to these guys, why they were not getting into this area. And for me, I never had a problem with hard work. So that part was easy. And the second part was to do with, assessing what are the risks involved. I'm a hospitality management graduate, so I studied this business. I also grew up with this as a kid. We have a little hotel back home, so I grew up with this business. I knew, ins and outs. So for me, it was like, okay, it's worth trying this out. So I explored all the options that were around in Bratislava. I went through all the events to see, how the guys who are actually doing it, how are they doing it? How long is it taking for them to serve the food? What kind of food they're serving, and how they are making it. So I was going around all of these places for a couple of months to get a good data in my hand to figure out what could go wrong and how I could work around with it. And I think after a couple of months of doing that, there was the idea. There was I was like, okay, is it a go or a no go? And the decision came in as a go, and I was like, okay. So that's how the idea came up.
Cool. And regarding the bureaucracy, it's easy for a foreign person. How you describe it?
You mean bureaucracy setting up a business, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Well, I think that there's two factors in there, right? Number one is to do with how you set up the company, and number two is how you actually get the business done, right? So how to get the business done, I knew it because I did all the work earlier. I just had to figure out how to do it in a Slovak way, right? This is just a new country, but bureaucracy-wise, I think Slovakia is in a same kind of pattern as most countries that I've been in before, whether it be the UK, India, or anywhere else. It is in a similar way. The only thing I think kind of always turns down a lot of foreigners is the fact that most of it is in Slovak language.
Okay.
But I think it's really down to the entrepreneur. It's really down to the person who wants to start business, how much he really wants it. If he really wants it, he finds a way how to do it. He will either find a person who speaks Slovak, partner with them and figure out how to get it done. In my case, I knew that I was going into business, so I worked a lot on my Slovak language. I went through most of the pages on my own, government ones, to figure out what they have, by law, what I'm supposed to have to be able to open it. And also I got very lucky because I've been working in this area in Bratislava, so I knew a couple of organizations. One of them, which I would definitely mention, is SBA, which is also called as NPC, that's Slovak Business Agency. So this is agency funded by the government and the European Union, and they have all sorts of experts in different areas that you, as a resident in Slovakia who has a business, let's say an SRO, which is a company, or a trade license, which is if you have one of those two things in Bratislava, they are able to get you, I think I had 40 hours and then I got 80 more hours of these expert guys who can help me. So yeah, I got through SBA. I got through a person, Radus Dula. He was a big help for me because he was somebody in the same field. We kind of had the same kind of education. So on our first meeting, he just said like, you have done the same thing that I've done. What can I do for you? And I was like, well, I want to know how we do it in Slovak way. So the bureaucracy per se, yes, it exists because you don't really have a choice of having people in these urats, these offices, who speak to you in English. But if you are able to find your way through it, you are able to do it. I think the bureaucracy part, this part of bureaucracy of setting up a company is very easy. It's really easy. It's like $200 to $300. And you're able to set up the company, but the actual part of doing the business is when you really, you kind of struggle because you have to find out how to get through the Slovak market, depending upon if it's a product that you're providing, if it's a service that you're providing, how you're going to reach out to the guys and things like that. So, I don't know, my experience was really good, but again, a big thanks to this would go to SBA for sure.
Cool.
Because, they gave me I was ready, but I just needed that final touch. That finishing touch, that cherry on the top, and that is what they did. I got Radus on board. Radus was amazing. He told me exactly how not to fear about the whole bureaucracy. He just told me okay, if these guys come over, this is what they need. If you just give them one paper that says it all, they have no time or energy left to do anything else. You give them what they want and they go away.
Okay, great. This is good because I didn't know that there is this, for example, this help that can support you, no? So
yeah, it's there. I mean, I've been kind of working with them, and I'm trying to get them to be more visible in the foreigner community, because this is really good, right? This is something that is sponsored by European Union, So practically, Andre, I did not pay a penny. I did not pay a cent to get any of the help. I went to their office. Their office is right next to Twin City. So they are pretty much in town. Anybody who wants to do anything with them, you can just walk into the office or make a prior appointment. Most of them speaks English, or at least one of them always is there who can speak in English. Cool. So foreigners can just walk in. Only thing, their prerequisite is that you need to have a company or a trade license with an address in Bratislava.
Okay. But
that is the condition for Bratislava office.
Well, still good that there is this help, because if maybe you can. And then I imagine that the majority of the people are here, foreign people, are living in Bratislava and make business in Bratislava because it's the capital. So
yeah, exactly. And I don't know, I can't think of a better address.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's there's just so many ways to do it. I did not have my Trvali Pobit down in Bratislava. You can register a company with a virtual address in Bratislava. How cool is that? It's just so many. So person who really wants to do it will find a way. It's not that hard. That there are a lot of people I know. Some of my friends, they turned away from doing a business because they were like, everything is in Slovak. And I was like, well, you are in Slovakia, so it's gonna be in Slovak. It's up to you how to figure out. It's up to you how to figure out how it's gonna be in English. And a lot of times when I've been in Urats myself, if you say a couple of words or a few lines to show that you are friendly and you want to, try to get some information, a lot of times they do help you. Some of them also even speak English. They're just shy to say something. And also, by law or by requirement of their job, they may not be comfortable in giving you some information in English, right? That's the same case with foreign police. Most of them also speak Slovak, but they are not competent enough to give that to you in English, and they are scared that they see something wrong in English, and then you can screw them up. So
interesting
you gotta see both sides of the coins.
No, because also in these days there is this big mess for the foreign police. I don't know if you are following the foreign community about it. Or these 20 hours of waitings.
It is crazy, but again, when I compare it with times when we came here, when I came here back then, those were even weirder times. So I think now there is luxury. Now you are able to do online appointments. I mean, okay, it takes some time. I just booked an appointment for 2 weeks from now. But it took me 3 to 4 tries because of the technical errors, whatever was on the website. But I got through it, and I have an appointment for in 2 weeks' time. I don't have to do any of the waiting and all of that. And I know that not everybody gets so lucky to get through them and have the appointment. Maybe I just got lucky in getting all of that. But yeah, the horror stories that I've seen and read, that's why I've delayed changing anything here in Bratislava, because trying to go there is like going through all the line mafia, as I call it.
Yeah.
The whole idea of having to go there overnight, sleep in the in the place to be able to be in the line, and then you don't even know. It's crazy, and I hope the government is going to do something about it, because
I hope so.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that has been done by foreigners here in Bratislava, and I think they definitely deserve much more.
I totally agree. And regarding your business, how you created your community? How you spread the voice of your business through, I don't know, Slovak community, foreign community?
How did I spread it? I don't know. I think I definitely was not out to do what everybody else was doing. Like when I started this, everybody asked me, like, do you want to open an Indian restaurant? And I was like, no, I'm not opening an Indian restaurant. I'm opening a different concept. There's already 15. In today's day, there's 17 Indian restaurants in Bratislava, which is crazy. But with me, I think I wanted to just do something original, something that I enjoy doing, something that I know has already some potential in there. Like, for example, the stuff that I'm offering is something that I've been offering to my Slovak friends and all of these guys around me for years. So I know that something that was liked by everybody else is what I'm offering. So I went in with, I think what I went in with the originality. That was, I think, the biggest thing that I had. I went in with originality, that I'm an Indian guy, I'm an Indian chef, I know what I use is quality. So I started with that. I started to give homemade. When you say homemade, I'm not using something from a supermarket and bringing in, heating it up, or frying it and putting on the plate. That here you go. We make our own gravies. We marinate our own. We marinate the chicken in our own spices. That we get. It's our own mix of things. The drink that we give is again our own way of making it. We make the syrup ourselves, and then we mix it together with mango and things like that. So I think since I went in there with the really originality thing, it wasn't really hard for me to get through people. I think the whole idea of the business started with the fact that it's a plan B for me, because I was not getting the place. I was like, okay, let's try a food truck. I already had offers from people to say, like, we're gonna have a get together, or we're gonna have an event. Could you please come and cook this food that you always cook when we are together? So I already had some offers. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna get a truck. I'm gonna do this couple of events. If worst to worst happens, I'll just sell it, and I'll be fine. I had a very big financial bracket with the fact that I had a job that I was already doing, which I did not have to leave in order to do this. So I think that was the biggest advantage that I had. So all these factors together, when they came up, I don't know. I think we did one event in front of Stara Teznica, and it blew up so much. After the event, we had offers from all over Slovakia. We were also, some guys coming in from Vienna, like, hey guys, because they like the fact that all of a sudden you are able to eat Indian food on the street, right? You don't have to go into Indian restaurant to be able to do it. And all of a sudden you are able to go to festival, and you're able to have a little plate with Indian food in there, and it looks good, it tastes good, and I think that was the main part. And so really, I did not invest a lot in marketing or anything like that. I just did what we were doing. I think the most that I had spent in first year was like 20 or 30 euros for a promotion.
Wow,
on Facebook.
It's nothing.
So it was nothing. But I think because of that is how the word is spread. And I think that is the best way to do marketing, right? You're offering something quality. You're offering something original. It is not like, I don't know, a Slovak guy doing Thai massage. It's just not the same. You always go like, okay, you want a Thai person doing a Thai massage. It's something like that. So I think that is what helped me, spread the word out about what we do. Great.
And how you then end up in Slovakia?
Again, that's a long story, Andrea. But I was working in the UK. I was working with Czechs and Slovaks, and all of them around me. And then my girlfriend back there was Slovak. So when we moved around, I was, I think, almost 5 years in the UK. professionally, what I wanted from that place I had already got. So I went through positions from one to another one, climbed up the ladder with all of these positions, and I had whatever I had there. After that, there was just nothing fulfilling for me. So this came in as a new challenge, going into a new country with, a place where you don't know the language, don't know the culture, but, still will figure something out. That was like exciting for me. So yeah, here I am, 8 years on, still here.
Cool. Because I was thinking, if we are coming directly from India, from an European place, because I don't know, for me, for example, I don't have any. I don't know. Nobody told me about Slovakia before, not coming here, because nobody went here before. So I was imagining, I don't know, you, or maybe you have friends came here before, so. But
no, I had zero contact with anybody. It's funny that you asked, because I remember I moved into Košice, right? That's where I started, and it was weird because when I was there, I was like, there's no Indian people there. I was like, it's weird because we are everywhere in the world, and all of a sudden there was none. And then there was no Indian food down there as well. So I started back then there was no Indian food back there. So I started with, serving Indian food down there in Košice. And then once I started that, then, some people who were calling in for the order, they were like, you have Indian food? Is there an Indian guy who's cooking it? And I was like, yeah. And then, one of the guys was like, oh, can we talk to him? And, then I spoke to the first Indian person on the phone, and literally the next day we met, and there was like, I think it was 8 of us in Košice back then. There was like 8 of us together, and I was like, wow, what are you guys doing?
Amazing achievement.
Yeah, it was a good feeling, to see Indian guys around, so that I don't all on my own.
I had the same even here for Italian. So.
Yeah, but before that, I did not know a lot. I mean, again, I said I worked with a lot of Slovaks and Czechs in London, so I only knew the country through them, and everything that they told me about the culture and all of that. So I didn't really have any connection into the country or their culture. I did not know a lot. But again, I take it as a new challenge. I wanted to try something new, because in the UK it just felt like I had everything that I wanted. Financially, career-wise, everything was just there, and I felt like I was in a saturation mode. I was not really doing anything challenging. So here I am.
Cool story. And regarding your business, how you face the issue of the lockdown? Because I imagine that during the coronavirus, lockdown was very hard for you.
Yeah. It was definitely hard. We were shut down, right? We are not a day-to-day business. By the law that was passed around, we could have still be opened, because we are like a mobile seller, right? We are not in one place, so we were still able to be open and do it. But I think there was just so much uncertainty about what it was. There was very less information so as to what we are going into, and I didn't want to experiment with it. I didn't want anything to happen where we break a law or do something that we're not supposed to do. There was just a lot going on, so we decided to take a pause and monitor the situation to see how it's going to be. Most of our events were cancelled, so everything that we had planned at the end of last year for this year, the whole plan for 2020 was like completely shuffled up. We were like, okay, well, all the events that we're supposed to go, we're not gonna go to. All the planning that we did financially is not gonna be up to the mark. All the agreements that we had with our suppliers, everything was on the line, and we just had to kind of reset. So we decided to stay low, monitor the situation how it is. I was still paying my staff to make sure that they have the support that they require even during the hard times. The government was good also in providing some support, which I think has not been talked about a lot from most of the people that I know. But like our guys, like 3 of our guys, they got money, they got paid benefits from government. It was really nice. I think they were very thankful.
Great.
I think it's up to the owner to figure out, do some research to see what is available from government, and we were lucky that we had that support going on. And it was a complete reset. I think that is the one line answer for that. It was a complete reset. But we are back on slowly, steadily. We're monitoring now. Now we are, in a second phase of the...
Exactly. That's why I asked, because I want to know if you have already a plan in case.
Well, the plan is to wait and watch. It's this is like a new thing. The second thing, again, we already have 2 events cancelled for September.
Mm-hmm.
So as much as we want to do business, we want to do it correctly. We don't want to do it with the risks wherein we are not following what we're supposed to follow health-wise and all of that. So all of our guys are always, their health is checked before we do everything. And at the same time, I want to make sure that they are healthy, and they are not being put to work in an event wherein there is no respect to the conditions or the laws that have been passed. So the events that we are going to, we are making sure that the organizer is aware that they are supposed to maintain the quality that they are supposed to do by law. There's disinfection around, there are masks worn. So, I think the business has to be done, but we want to do it with all the safety measures. So we are only going to the events that we already know and are familiar with. That they are taking the measures. For example, Street Food Park, it's an amazing organization. The way they organize and dress up the Namaste SNP. A matter of a day, they dress it up. In 4 days later, it's finished. And once the event is finished, you won't even know that there was something there. They're amazing. So this is the kind of events that we are willing to participate in, to make sure that we are still able to go through the second wave if it is coming. And we really hope that this happens.
Cool.
Because I think one more wave and it's going to be very hard for a lot of people.
Exactly. So, I hope not, really. I think one was enough. More than enough.
Exactly. One was enough.
And I know that you are creating a project called Neviem po slovensky.
Yes.
Can you talk about this? So we know also.
Definitely.
It's very interesting.
Definitely, and I have a smile on my face every time I talk about that project, because it's very dear to me. It's very dear to me in a way that it's a project dedicated. It's a social project, right? It's like a giving back for me. It's a project where which was created because all the foreigners that we met, every time we met, we were all talking about how Slovaks, have these stereotypes, the way they treat us. Some are really good, some are funny, some are not so good, and things like that. So it really came in, I think, a year ago when the whole media was around refugees and immigrants and foreigners in general, who don't look like Slovaks, and all the media massage, the way it is called it, was pretty negative. And I kind of felt like there's some social responsibility also towards the foreigner, not only about the organizations and also locals, but also foreigners. Us as foreigners have responsibility to contribute to the society, help them realize that we are here. And we are not always a threat. We are not always here to take their jobs, money, women, and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. We are paying taxes, we are contributing to the society. So
Exactly. So we are doing a lot of that, but just never shown in a good light, it felt like. So I was like, how about we show that, but we showed it in a funny way, right? We showed it in a funny way because most of our team members are all comedians and all of that. So we decided that we're gonna show this side of foreigners in a funny way. So we decided a two-prong approach. Okay. Number one was to show them that all the nationalities who are in Slovakia, who are living here, who are doing something in here, so that they get to see this. Mainly for the Slovaks who are outside bigger cities, outside Bratislava, I should say, and all of that. So easiest way to reach out to them was through video canal, right? Because everybody kind of goes on YouTube, So we were like, what? We're gonna create videos which are gonna be fun, but at the same time gonna show how foreigners live here. And we will find out, how to get it through these people who are usually exposed only to the fascist or far right groups who are creating all these hatred videos. So we were like, we will create funny videos and we will target people who are part of these groups, so they are able to maybe see the funny side as well, and maybe even if we have one or two people changing their opinion,
exactly,
and looking at us in a different way, it's just gonna be a win. So this was a social project for me. We named it Ne Viem po Slovenski. It's like it's called in Slovak, it's called Slovna Račka, like playing with the words, because it kind of ends with a question mark, like asking, like, do you think I don't speak Slovak? So it's like Ne Viem, which is like, I know and I do not know. So it's called Ne Viem po Slovenski. The first part of it would be videos where we will show all these foreigners who don't really speak Slovak, but are here, and how they feel about Slovak food, Slovak drinks, the culture in general, and things like that. So we did, very first video that we did was like a tasting video. So we got something that is really Slovak, let's say brinzové pyrohy. We got them, and we got them to taste it, and we asked them, like, what do they feel about it? Does it remind them of anything in their own country, and things like that? So it was funny part. So that was, let's say, more casual part, and then the second part was about scenarios, right? So the second part was more about showing them real life experiences that we went through. So we've had one video where I'm there in the video. We always wanted to pair it up with somebody who is already known in the Slovak media, so that it will be a good combination of a foreigner and a known person in Slovak media, so we are able to reach out to a higher audience.
Okay.
So we did one wherein me and a friend of mine from India, we are at the bus stop. We are speaking in Indian language. We are dressed in Indian attire, and we are talking. And then there is a Slovak lady with a kid. And the kid is very innocent, right? And just asking, like, who are they? They're dressed differently, they're talking. And the kid just goes like, the mom just goes to the kid like, they're just foreigners, they're just here to visit, they're just here tourists. They're here to see how it is, because, it's different in their country. And she's like, well, ask them, what they're talking about. And she was like hesitating, like, no, like, stop it. And all of a sudden I turn around. The way I look, very Indian, and we are talking in Indian, and I switch to Slovak, and I start talking to her in Slovak, and then that is basically showing them that, okay, not everybody who does not look like Slovak, who doesn't look like somebody who speaks Slovak, can actually also speak Slovak.
Yeah, definitely.
That's one of them. And then we wanted to have more funny scenarios. It reminds me a lot with your accent, with your Italian accent.
Yeah.
There are also certain things, like a friend of ours, he was in a restaurant, right? So with Slovak waitress and whatnot, and he wanted to ask for the bill. And he spoke a little bit Slovak already, so he said, like, Účet prosím. He was asking for, like, zaplatím, like, he wanted to pay, but he was saying it in a strong Spanish accent. The guy was Spanish. He was saying it in a strong Spanish accent, so the waitress, because of her way of stereotyping, she was already thinking that he's speaking a different language and not Slovak. So when he said, like, Účet prosím, she did not understand that, even though it was said in a very good way. So the guy then switches to English, and he says, "Debil, please." Okay, which is Italian or Spanish way of calling the bill.
Yeah.
But in Slovak, it actually the word "debil" means idiot. So that basically ends up offending the waitress and things like that. So yeah, I mean, the stories are endless, the scenarios are endless, but we kind of got let's say not killed, but shut down by whole Corona.
Yeah.
And
which is good,
we wanted to find organizations who would like to support this. So the very first videos, I kind of funded it my own thing, because I thought it is just going to be nice and easy. We just record something, but there's a lot of work that happens in shooting a video, which is 2 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
We had to. I realized after a couple of videos, I was like, wow, this is not as easy financially as I thought. So I was like, okay, I'll put in my own money, but then also it will be good to find organizations who may have interest in doing this, because I think it's in a goodwill, in a good interest for this kind of organization. So we are hoping we will find somebody to co-work with on this one, and make more videos, and have the funding to be able to create these things and have it out there. Because really, I feel little videos like this, which is not sending something in a serious way, or not criticizing those people who don't have, an open mind. Humor is a good way to reach out to these people and maybe, get them to rethink, like foreigners are not always bad and some of them are really good. They are here. They speak the language. They are very much integrated and things like that.
Totally agree with you.
Yeah.
This is the humorism is the best way to get together with the people. Yeah. And talking about Slovakia, what is your favorite Slovak food?
It's always, we always have these little arguments about what is really Slovak food because, they have the cuisine so much, kind of integrated with other cuisines around. But I think brinza is something that was really, we kind of, came to a conclusion that brinza was one of the most Slovak thing because you don't really get it everywhere the way it is. You can't really always directly relate it with a lot of things. So brinza definitely, I would say, since it is one of the most Slovak things, and even though I'm not really the fan of brinza, but I like a little bit of brinza ve halušky with bacon. It's just a very good combination of, a bland food.
It's my favorite.
With cheese, bland food, cheese, and then bacon on top. It's like you put bacon on everything, and it just tastes good.
Exactly, it's turning amazing. This is true. It's true.
Yeah.
And what instead you suggest to, for a foreigner or a Slovak that would like to try for the first time the Indian cuisine?
Indian cuisine, definitely. I mean, there's so many things that pop up in my head now, but I would definitely say try butter chicken because butter chicken is something that is like, I would say, very, for us as Indian, it's not so popular outside India. Let's say for outside India, it is more chicken tikka masala, which is being modernized by the UK and all of that. But my favorite food back in India, and I think I speak for quite a few Indians, it would be butter chicken. Butter chicken is something very, very. It has a big history. I could talk about it for a long time, but it is something that I always like. The way when you go to an Italian pizzeria, you want to try margherita pizza. Based on that, you are able to judge Italian restaurant. Yeah. Same way I say the way butter chicken is prepared in an Indian restaurant, you can judge the quality of Indian restaurant.
Okay.
I always do this every time I go to Indian restaurants in Bratislava. I always order that with our bread, and that is how I judge the quality of the chef. That is how I judge the quality of the kitchen, because that is something. It is so easy, but at the same time so technically not easy to always get it.
Yeah.
A lot of people go the cheap way, whereas the original taste really is amazing. So I definitely recommend that. It also what we offer in our food truck is basically butter chicken, but I don't call it butter chicken because for butter chicken I want to be technically correct. Butter chicken, you need tandoori chicken which is cooked in a tandoor oven. That is what you need to be able to make that, and I can't have tandoori oven inside the truck. It's just as of now not really something that I would approve of. So that is why instead of calling it butter chicken, we called it MumBhai chicken. But the taste wise, it's pretty similar. But technically, it cannot be butter chicken because I am not cooking the tandoor in the chicken in the tandoor oven, but on the grill. So, but yeah, that is something that I would always say every time you go to an Indian restaurant, try that.
That one. Cool. Good tips. And to conclude, I would say, what are your future plans?
Well, near future plans, all of them are definitely in Bratislava. I'm very clear on that part. We would definitely want to increase our brand. What we're doing is quality, it's original, and I want to, again, I said, right now we are just out with plan B, right? The truck was plan B. So we really want to work on plan A. We want to open this place, which is somehow going to go over to the locals. I think I don't want to have a place just for the sake of having a place. We want to have a place where we are able to give you an experience along with the food, but at the same time we are able to work with the locals. Like one of my ideas was to work with the local farmers. So there was a farmers market. I wanted to make sure that every morning we go around, take whatever the farmers have from their own farms in the morning, and in the same place nearby we will cook food based on those.
Great.
So we basically have locally sourced from local farmers. We have something and we make it right there. And I think, that is a good way of, let's say,
to integrate.
Social. Exactly, it's a social offering, right? That is how I think that is what the business is supposed to be about. When you're able to work together, and I think the farmers are really underrated around here. Like if you go to some of the farmers market, there are only very few which actually sell only that what they harvest, and these are really good. I think that is what I kind of want to do. I want to have quality ingredients, sourced locally, and make something Indian out of it, and have that presented. So these are the plans around it, and also to do with Miriam Poslovensky. Again, there are several people who are trying to do these things and going in the same direction, like you, Andrea. You're trying to make sure that foreigners are shown in a good light. And so I think the direction for most of us is the same, but it's just the route that we take is a different one. So I'm hoping even that project somehow will go up. I'm hoping some organization will take it over, because I don't think I am really qualified in all of these things. I'm just like the creator of the idea, okay, this is something that we should do. Through humor, we should reach out to them and break the barriers, so that we don't have any more far-right people ruling the country, but somebody who has a better lookout towards foreigners and what we do. So I hope that happens.
Good. Okay. Thank you very much, Shrey, for this conversation. It was very nice. I hope that we can meet each other soon, so I can try their favorite plate. So
great. Great. We're gonna be there. Well, I hope unless something changes, we're gonna be there in Dulovan Meste this week, and hopefully the week after that in Stara Tržnica. I really hope. Okay. Let's see how the directives come from the government. But Andrea, thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure, and hope to see you soon as well.
Yeah, okay? Exactly. Thank you very much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ciao.
So, if you would like to try the delicious Indian food of MumBhai Express, follow his Facebook page in the description of this episode to be updated where to find it in the next street food festival. Thank you for being part of the Slovakia Chronicle family, and stay safe.